Queen Victoria, born Alexandrina Victoria, came into the world on May 24th, 1819, at Kensington Palace in London. She was the only child of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, who was the fourth son of King George III and Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld. Her father died when she was only 8 months old, and her upbringing was overseen by her mother and her close advisor, Sir John Conroy. Victoria's early life was sheltered and disciplined under the Kensington System, implemented by Conroy and her mother, a regime that designed to keep her dependent on them and shield her from any influences outside their control. Her education was intensive, focusing on languages, history, geography, and the moral lessons necessary for a future monarch. Victoria's life changed dramatically in 1837, at the age of 18, under her uncle, King William IV. He died and she ascended to the throne as Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Her ascension marked the beginning of a new era, coming at a time when the British Empire was undergoing rapid expansion and transformation. The public immediately embraced her, viewing her as a symbol of a fresh start after the dissolute and scandal-prone reigns of her predecessors. One of Victoria's first significant acts as queen was to move to Buckingham Palace, establishing it as the official royal residence. Her early reign was marked by her reliance on Lord Melbourne, her first prime minister, who became her close friend and political mentor. In the year 1840, Victoria married her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Their marriage was a deeply affectionate partnership and profoundly influenced her reign. Albert was highly intelligent and possessed a strong sense of duty, becoming not only her husband but also her most trusted advisor. Together they had 9 children, who would go on to marry into many of the great royal families of Europe, earning Victoria the nickname the Grandmother of Europe. The period of Victoria's reign, known as the Victorian era, was characterized by significant industrial, cultural, political, scientific, and military changes within the United Kingdom, and was marked by great expansion of the British Empire. It was a time of great economic progress, partly fueled by the Industrial Revolution, which brought about dramatic improvements in infrastructure, industry, and urbanization. The Industrial Revolution, which had began in the late 18th century, continued to progress throughout Victoria's reign, transforming the British economy and society. Innovations such as the steam engine, the spinning jenny, and the power loom revolutionized manufacturing processes, leading to the growth of factories and urban centers. Railways expanded rapidly, facilitating the movement of goods and people, and contributing to economic growth. The Victorian era also saw significant advancements in science and technology. Charles Darwin published On the Origin of Species in 1859, introducing the theory of evolution by natural selection, which had a profound impact on biological sciences and sparked widespread debate. The development of the telegraph revolutionized communication, and other inventions such as the telephone, the electric light bulb, and the internal combustion engine emerged towards the end of the 19th century. Victoria's reign witnessed numerous social and political reforms. The early years of her reign saw the Chartist movement, which demanded universal male suffrage and other democratic reforms. While the Chartists were not immediately successful, their demands laid the groundwork for future reforms. The Reform Act of 1832 had already extended the franchise to a broader segment of the male population, but it was followed by further reforms during Victoria's reign. The Second Reform Act of 1867 significantly increased the number of men eligible to vote, and the Third Reform Act of 1884 expanded the electorate even further. The Married Women's Property Acts of 1870 and 1882 were also significant, granting married women the right to own and control their own property and right. Social issues such as child labor, working conditions, and public health also came to the forefront. The Factory Acts, beginning in 1833, sought to improve conditions for workers, particularly children. Public health reforms, such as the establishment of boards of health and the improvement of sanitation, aimed to address the challenges posed by rapid urbanization. Victoria's reign was marked by a complex interplay of domestic and foreign policy challenges. Domestically, she navigated through a period of immense change and sometimes turbulent politics. Her relationship with her prime ministers, including notable figures such as Sir Robert Peel, Benjamin Disraeli, and William Gladstone, was crucial in shaping her policies. Victoria's relationship with her prime ministers varied significantly, where she enjoyed a close, affectionate relationship with Disraeli, who flattered and supported her. Her relationship with Gladstone was more strained due to his more progressive policies and his manner, which she found patronizing. One of the most significant domestic issues of Queen Victoria's reign was the Irish question. The Great Famine of the 1840s devastated Ireland, leading to mass starvation, immigration, and a deepening resentment towards British rule. Efforts to address Irish grievances, such as the disestablishment of the Church of Ireland and land reforms, were made often but met with limited success. The push for Irish Home Rule became a dominant issue in British politics towards the end of her reign. Victoria's reign was also marked by significant expansion of the British Empire. The phrase, "the sun never sets on the British Empire," became a popular way to describe its vastness. This period saw the annexation of territories in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. One of the most significant events in terms of imperial expansion was the Indian Rebellion of the year 1857. The rebellion, also known as Sepoy Mutiny, was a major but ultimately unsuccessful uprising against the British East India Company's rule. In the aftermath, the British government took direct control of India, and in the year 1876, Victoria was proclaimed Empress of India. Other notable foreign policy events included the Crimean War of 1853 to 1856, where Britain, alongside France and the Ottoman Empire, fought against Russia to curb its expansionist ambitions. The conflict highlighted deficiencies in the British military and then led to reforms. The latter part of Victoria's reign saw the scramble for Africa, where European powers divided the African continent amongst themselves. The Berlin Conference of 1884 through 1885 regulated European colonization and trade in Africa, formalizing many of the boundaries that still exist today. Victoria's personal life had a significant impact on her public role. Her marriage to Prince Albert was a pivotal influence. Albert's death in the year 1861 left her devastated, and then she entered a prolonged period of mourning, wearing black for the remainder of her life and withdrawing from public life to a great extent. This seclusion led to some criticism and a temporary decline in the popularity of the monarchy. Despite her seclusion, Victoria continued to exercise her influence through correspondence with her ministers and involvement in state affairs. Her Golden and Diamond Jubilees in the year 1887 and 1897 were marked by national celebrations, reaffirming her place in the hearts of her subjects. Queen Victoria died on January 22, 1901, at the age of 81, at Osborne House on the Isle of Wight. Her death marked the end of the Victorian era and the beginning of a new century. She was succeeded by her eldest son, Albert Edward, who became King Edward VII. Queen Victoria's reign was one of the longest in British history, lasting 63 years and 7 months. Her time on the throne saw the United Kingdom transformed by industrialization, expansion of the empire, and significant social and political changes. Victoria herself evolved from a young, inexperienced queen into a symbol of stability and continuity, embodying the values and aspirations of her time. Her legacy continues to influence the modern British monarchy and the nation's historical consciousness.